asking a question when this course was being made. So you made mention of the institution that is being organized in Africa to try and develop leaders. So if we are going to have the challenge now, you are saying is bad leadership. Now, and there's an institution that wants to produce leaders. Are we trying to say that it's going to be strictly on leaders that have gone through a necessitated process that will govern society? Doesn't that deny the potential for other people who may just be a David somewhere to come and lead God's people?
Okay, thank you very much. And we are speaking from a perspective of the fact that leadership is not just an acquisition of some certain skill sets, but it's somebody who has an answer to a problem. And that understanding rhymes with what Ronald Hertzfeld, a professor of leadership from Harvard Kennedy School, spoke about. He's a propounder of adaptive leadership principle. And adaptive leadership principle speaks about an understanding that if there's a problem, you should lead people towards solving the problem. And that's where leadership comes. If you view leadership as when there's a problem, somebody is coming up to be and answer the problem, it helps. So that's the understanding that comes from. So somebody is building some person with a skill set, with a belief that he has an idea of what the problem is. And if he doesn't have this skill set or have an understanding of this and this, he may eventually be an answer to the problem. So what we are having now is not necessarily a stereotyping of the people to have leaders they will choose, but it's an intention to create people who have existed in the time past. Let me give you an idea of what he has. He has segregated the leaders into generations. He gave the first generation, second generation, the third generation. In the first generation, he mentioned two leaders that were very, maybe very outspoken, and okay, so we can call someone like Kwame Nkrumah. He mentioned Kwame Nkrumah. He mentioned Julius Nyerere. When it comes to the second generation, he mentioned people like, on our own part, he mentioned people like Sani Abacha. So he was mentioning those people that they took us backward. Then later on, we have people appear on the scene. He now mentioned Nelson Mandela. He now mentioned somebody like Paul Kagame of Rwanda. So the expectation is there's a fourth generation of leaders, we coming up, who should have a certain level of problem-solving skills, because leadership is about problem-solving. So we have a problem on ground. We cannot say we not look at leadership. Anytime there have been a success in any system around the world, names pop up, and those names are leadership names. Be it Williams, be it, let's say, what's his name again? I'm talking about the activist that stopped and was finding about black marginalization in America, Martin Luther. Be it Nelson Mandela, or you are talking about this guy from India, Mahatma Gandhi of India. People names pop up. You want to talk about Dubai, you call their prince. Names pop up. Anytime there's a major breakthrough in system or anything, there's somebody who is visionary. There's somebody who is looking at development. There's somebody who has placed personal interest aside. There's somebody who is not looking at the money to pack, as he was saying. Because as Professor Lumumba said, he said people are coming up who see politics as a midstream scheme, the leadership. They want to grab power so that they will pack money for themselves and their family. And this is the problem we have. We have a genuine problem on ground. We are raising people. The answer to our problem will be leadership. That's the truth about it. And as long as we continue having the wrong people going there, we will continue to have what we have. We have somebody who's visionary enough, who has the right skill set, who has the mind and the intention and the knowledge to solve our problem. By God's grace, we have Dr. Anza, who is here, spoken elaborately. The truth is that if he does not get into power, he will not do it. The truth is that if he's corrupt, he cannot give us the change he's talking about, because we have had people who spoke about development and change on social media to here to nowhere. They gave them special assistant to governor or any of these small positions. Their language changed. It's a matter of moral values. It was a challenge of your integrity, and it's a problem. That's why you can contrast people from different nations. That's why you can carry Nigeria and say, this is a Nigerian. No. You carry an Indian person, this is a Nigerian, an Indian. The reason why we identify people from nations and we label them by some certain level of integrity is because they themselves have a representation of what they hold as values. This is what we're talking about. So essentially, we're reducing it to a place where we don't have value systems that help us. And this value system, no matter the system we put on ground, may not work. So I'm talking about leadership growth because he was a product of a broken society. He had to move from one nation to the other nation because he was in Zimbabwe. He moved because of the war. He moved to a nation, the war happened, he moved to another nation. When he came back to his country, the president who was running side by side with Nelson Mandela for apartheid struggle, his name is Mugabe. Mugabe was trying initially, then suddenly Mugabe wanted to hold power for 37 years, and they had to force him out of office. His counterpart, Mandela, held office one tenure and gave it. So there was a whole lot of difference because his country took a retrograde step, things went bad. I'm not really saying that people, if they stay in office for long, things will go bad. We have Paul Kagame, he has been there, I think, since 2002. He has been there for over 20 years. There's progress in his nation. What are we talking about? We're talking about conscience, integrity, moral values. And at any point, even if you're a good leader, you're doing well, by the time you push that aside, you start taking a backward movement. And this is what we're talking about, right? So we're talking about primarily. I want to be underline that word, primarily. If we're discussing here because we want to have a solution, the question of integrity is what I hold to heart as I sit here. For you, for him, and for Dr. Anza, it's a question of integrity. If there's any solution we can proffer Nigeria, it will boil down to the fact that we are more interested about helping than taking. I come from a place, if I wanted to take, it will be more easier for me to take than to want to help. So sometimes you are in a society, you are placed in a way that it is more natural for you to go that way. But then you say no, because of your moral integrity, how you have been raised up, you can take a different side and help. So I think, by and large, we are not in the denial of a problem of a system. Do you understand? But we are allergic to the fact that we need people who will give us leadership. Sorry, before I will give you time to talk, let me give an analogy of a personal experience. Benin State University Medical Student Association, that's Bentusa. We came in, no, before we came in, we had a congress. This is just a very short narrative. We had a congress, we were discussing dues collection. They said dues collection should be automated. I'm trying to talk about system and integrity. It should be automated to the account because when they give people money on their hand, by the time they say strike, before they complete 1 month, 2 months, money has finished, they come back and they pad up and give us, and miscellaneous will be 1 point something million. We said no, we cannot have this kind of. Let this be automated so that we can have money in the right place. Somebody stood up and said that he likes collecting dues by the hand. He likes when he pays dues by the hand, he's happy. He said that thing with the intention that his friend was going to become a president. And if the dues be collected by hand, he had an opportunity to get from it. Some people took that home and they work with it because the same person would come for speaker and will lose for similar statements. So it was the integrity of people who were in the house who felt they needed an automation that insisted an automation should be put in place. And when it was put in place, it was still the integrity of the financial secretary, the integrity of the speaker, and the integrity of people in the government not to sign money out because they still had the right to sign money out and eat it and explain away. Yeah. So we still have people in government who say, no, let's not remove this money for this reason. Until today, they know it's standing. And I can't say that association has been suspended for more than a year now. We still have monies that were there intact. We have a financial secretary who is accountable. We have a president who is not insisting that they must remove money. We have a speaker who is saying, no, let the money be kept so that anytime the association come on board, we can hand over these things to the next association to run with it. So this is the kind of argument we are making.